Hi, I'm Joe Gertis, and this is Coffee in the Capitol. My guest today is Erik Arneson, the Executive Director of the Office of Open Records. This agency enforces the decade-old right-to-know law and is the state's watchdog for government transparency and accountability. Welcome, Erik.
Thank you, Joe. Very nice to be here.
Thank you. Let's jump right into it and talk about a serious problem, Erik, nuisance requests. These requests waste staff time and tax dollars in our townships. Who are the biggest offenders and what's being done to curb the abuse?
Well, we have the benefit now of several statewide studies which show that among agencies, some of the biggest concerns really are commercial requests and inmate requesters. In the Senate, Senator Blake has introduced Senate Bill 783, which is kind of a comprehensive bill that if you're interested in how the right-to-know law might be amended this session, that's a good starting place. But the House has advanced legislation as well. Representative Simmons, for example, has a commercial requester bill that is out of committee and nearing a floor vote in the House. So the goal there would be to allow agencies to essentially set different fee schedules for commercial requests, allowing them to recoup the cost of responding to those requests. And I worked for Senator Dominic Pileggi, the author of the law when this was enacted, and I can tell you without fear of contradiction that at the time nobody anticipated the volume of commercial requests that we're seeing today.
Right. When the right-to-know law went into effect in 2009, it created extra administrative work for townships. Any advice to our members to make their lives easier?
Yeah, mainly, and I don't mean this to sound flippant, it might, but use common sense. We see so many cases where agencies are trying to tightly follow the letter of the right-to-know law that they lose sight of what's the easiest way to get this done. For example, you don't need to require a right-to-know request. If somebody wants to see a meeting agenda or meeting minutes or basic budget documents, just let them ask for it and give it to them. Don't add the layer of, well, now it's a formal right-to-know request, so we've got to respond within 5 business days, all that sort of thing. Sure. To the extent that you have a website and can put commonly requested documents right on the web, the right-to-know law says that all agencies have to do in that case is point the requester to their website. So there are a number of ways to really lessen the burden on agencies in that regard. And also I will say that the Office of Open Records and PSATS, we often partner together to do training sessions across the state. And our Director of Training, George Spees, has best practices from all over the state. So another good way to help alleviate the burden is to attend some of those sessions.
And they've been very helpful, I know. Erik, some townships may not know about the mediation program, that's another useful tool for local officials. Can you kind of explain what that program's all about?
Sure. So the Office of Open Records typically gets involved in the process after a request has been made, and then it was either denied or partially denied, and then the requester appeals to us. One of the questions we ask requesters when they're filing the initial appeal, it's an online form, and one of the things they need to tell us is whether or not they're interested in mediation. If they say yes, we reach out to the agency, and you're right, not a lot of people know about it, and I think it's an underutilized tool. If the agency agrees to mediation, one of our trained mediators, we have several of them in the office, gets assigned the case. And they try to work it out in a less formal, more casual kind of setting. And the benefit of mediation is that at the end of it, as long as the requester is satisfied and the agency is satisfied, both parties are satisfied, the request is going to be withdrawn. So there is no chance of it going to court. The process ends, it's over, it saves everybody. No costly litigation, and we have a really remarkable track record with the mediation program. A lot of times with right-to-know law disputes, it's a lack of communication between the requester and the agency that causes problems, and so just getting them to be able to talk together can often solve it.
Outstanding. And finally, are you seeing any trends in the right-to-know law, Erik, with appeals being filed with your office? If so, what are those trends that you're seeing?
What we're seeing is that the appeals are becoming more and more nuanced. I think a lot of agencies now are used to the right-to-know law. It's been in effect for 10 years. And so many of the basic sorts of questions have been answered, right? And so what we see now are cases that are more unusual, that hinge on smaller issues, but no less detailed. And we are really seeing a need for agencies to give us more evidence. The process in front of the Office of Open Records is almost entirely done by email. And on the part of agencies, what that typically means is they need to send us affidavits. Affidavits don't need to be notarized, but they need to be sworn to under penalty of perjury. And when agencies give us good evidence, it makes our job so much easier. And in these more nuanced cases I'm talking about, getting better evidence from agencies is really key to us being able to do our job right.
Well, that's all the time we have today. Erik, thanks so much for being with us today.
Oh, my pleasure, Joe. Thanks for having me.
To learn more about the Right to Know law and the Office of Open Records, go to openrecords.pa.gov. And remember, if you like what you're seeing, subscribe to PSATS YouTube channel and follow our social media pages for more Township Video News content. Also, to suggest topics for CNC, email tvn@psats.org or contact me, Joe Gertis, at jgertis@psats.org or 717-763-0930, extension 122. Next Tuesday, look for Dave Talk. And as always, thanks for watching.